My mother was critically ill, but my evil mother-in-law refused to let go of the family's savings, claiming that saving my mother was a waste of money and that the money would be better off left for her grandson eventually. My mother died in the hospital due to lack of timely treatment. Overwhelmed by the pain of losing my mother, I lost my mind, went home, and killed my mother-in-law with a knife, then jumped off a building and died myself. However, to my surprise, after being reborn, I could hear my mother-in-law's inner thoughts that turned out that she was never the evil one. Elena is from the south. I wonder if she can get used to the northern food I cook. I asked Gabriel to tell her that if she can't, she can cook a couple of southern dishes herself, and I'll learn to make them for her in the future. She's so thin, and it won't do if she doesn't eat well. Iris's mumbling reached my ears, and I realized that I wasn't dead. Didn't I jump off the building? Looking at the table full of food in front of me and Iris smiling across from me, I realized this was the first day Iris moved into the new house Gabriel and I shared. She had made a table of dishes but asked me to cook my own. What was going on? Was I reborn? In the previous life, after Iris moved into my new home, she took control of everything in the house and, on the pretext that young people didn't know how to save money, took over the family's financial power. When my mother was critically ill, I couldn't afford to pay for her treatment. When I wanted to get money from her, she asked Gabriel to tell me. My mother said, "With your mother's condition, even if she's saved, it's a waste of money. It's better to leave the money for our future children." Because Iris refused to give me the money, my mother, who had already been taken to the hospital's emergency room, died there. In my rage, I ran home, stabbed Iris to avenge my mother, and then committed suicide by jumping off a building. Now it seemed that even heaven couldn't stand Iris's actions and gave me a chance to be reborn. But what did those words of Iris mean just now? Was she acting? Elena looks so pale. Is it because my cooking doesn't suit her taste? I already reminded my son to tell me the dishes Elena likes, so that I can learn to make them. What should I do if Elena isn't happy now? Iris's nervous voice rang out again. Strangely, she didn't open her mouth. She just looked at me indiferently, still looking like a difficult to get along with person. What was going on? Could it be that I was hearing her inner thoughts? Since when did she care so much about my taste? Elena, you eat first. I'll get some drinks from the fridge. Iris got up and walked towards the kitchen, and before leaving, she gave her son, Gabriel, a meaningful look. After Iris left, Gabriel moved closer to me. My mother said that if you think her cooking is not to your taste, you can cook by yourself. Don't show your dissatisfaction. I was stunned. Was this what his mother meant in her heart just now? Gabriel had said the same thing to me in the previous life, and it made me so angry that I couldn't eat and went straight back to my room. But just now, from Iris's inner thoughts, it seemed that she meant if I couldn't get used to it, I could cook myself. And then she would learn? Could Iris be defaced? But something seemed off. Although I resented Iris for what she did in the previous life, I couldn't just lash out and drive her away now. I had to find a way to make Iris unable to stay in this house. And Gabriel. I also wanted to divorce him. In the previous life, he was a mama's boy who listened to his mother in everything. And that's what led to my mother's death. Show my dissatisfaction? I haven't said anything, and I'm already being accused. I looked at Gabriel coldly and put my chopsticks down heavily on the table. Gabriel didn't expect me to suddenly get angry and secretly tugged at my sleeve. What are you doing? I've told you before that my mother has a bad temper. Don't make a fuss over such a small thing and make my mother unhappy. Your mother has a bad temper? Don't you know I have a bad temper too? In the previous life, I understood Gabriel's difficulty of being caught between his wife and mother. So I endured as much as I could, but this time, I wasn't going to tolerate it anymore. Just then, Iris came out with the drinks. What's going on, Elena? Is it that Mom's cooking doesn't suit your taste? Tell Mom what you like to eat, and I'll learn. As she spoke, she glared at Gabriel. How do you talk to your wife? I was stunned. Iris didn't take the opportunity to pick on me. This wasn't right. How dare I? Didn't you say that if I don't like it, I can cook myself and not show my dissatisfaction? From now on, I'll cook my own meals and won't trouble you, old lady. I rolled my eyes and said sarcastically. To my surprise, Iris was also stunned when she heard this. Did I say that? She wondered in her heart. Son, how should we too? Did I say that to you? Iris looked at Gabriel and asked. Gabriel's expression became a bit unnatural. He rolled his eyes and then said, "Yes, didn't you say that if her taste isn't met, she can cook herself?" "What I said was that she's from the south and might not be used to our northern food. If she can't get used to it, she can cook a couple of dishes herself, and I'll learn to make them for her in the future. I told you to make sure she doesn't get upset because of this." Iris sighed. "You're exactly like your father, you can't even convey a message clearly." Now it was my turn to be stunned. So Iris didn't mean to make things difficult from the start. It was Gabriel who misinterpreted the message. Did I misjudge Iris? No, it couldn't be. Even if I misjudged her this time, she forced us to hand over our salaries. And that led to my mother having no money for treatment. I definitely didn't misjudge her on this. I still had to settle this score. Shauna, Elena. Gabriel didn't convey my words clearly. Don't be angry if you can't get used to it. You can order takeout first. Just tell me what dishes you like. And if I don't know how to make them, I'll go learn. Iris pulled me to sit down and stuffed a can of drink into my hand. This sudden tenderness made me a bit at a loss. In the previous life, I had very few conversations with Iris. This was the first time I knew she could be so gentle. Gabriel also apologized. So it was me who misdelivered the message. I thought the general idea got across. Honey, don't be angry. You got the idea completely wrong, Iris said helplessly. Gabriel is just like his father. He often miscommunicates. Once, I bought a dress for his grandma and asked his father to tell her not to be reluctant to wear it and not let it go to waste. Guess what his father told his grandma? He said, "Iris said don't wear your ragged clothes anymore, she bought you a new one." His grandma thought I disdained her for dressing poorly and held a grudge against me until she died. I was speechless. I couldn't help but think of similar things that happened in the previous life. Could it really be that Gabriel misdelivered the messages? Mom, hunting fulfilled my obsession. Stop making fun of me and Dad, Gabriel said, scratching his hair in embarrassment. Honey, don't be angry anymore, okay? I couldn't continue to be angry either. So I nodded and invited both of them to have a meal, saying that I didn't think the food didn't suit my taste. Thank goodness I explained it clearly to Elena, otherwise she might think I'm an unreasonable and evil mother-in-law. Iris's relieved inner voice reached my ears again. My mood was complicated. On one hand, I felt that I might have misjudged her. On the other hand, I just couldn't get over the fact that in the previous life, she refused to give me the money, which led to my mother's death. Thinking of this, after finishing the meal, I went back to my room and called my mother. Mom, do you have time tomorrow? I want to take you for a physical examination, I said. What on earth do you want to do? Why a physical examination? My mother asked, sounding a bit puzzled. Hearing my mother's voice again, I almost couldn't hold back my tears to keep her from worrying. I suppressed the sobs in my throat and said, "It's nothing. It's just that it's about time for a physical examination, so I thought of arranging one for you. It'll give us peace of mind." You really like to make a fuss, my mother complained, but there was a smile in her voice. After making an appointment with my mother for the physical examination the next day, I felt relieved. The next day, I got up early and got ready to go out. Elena, you're going out? What would you like to eat tonight? Iris asked enthusiastically, seeing me to the door. I just nodded infuriately. I'm taking my mom for a full-body physical examination today. I don't mind what we have for dinner. Okay. Then Mom will cook some special dishes and wait for you to come back, Iris said, nodding with a smile at the same time. I heard her inner thoughts. Elena is so filial, knowing to take her mother for a physical examination. I wish I had such a filial daughter. Gabriel, being a big man, is not as considerate as a daughter. I wonder if I can invite my back for dinner tonight. The last time we met was at the wedding. And we didn't have a good chat. I left the house with a complicated mood actually. As a junior, I should probably have taken her for a physical examination too, but I couldn't forget what she did to my mother in the previous life. However, she seemed to understand that arranging a physical examination was the responsibility of one's own children, not something to be expected from a daughter-in-law. Not long after I left, while I was still in the car, I received a call from Gabriel. Honey, you took your mom for a physical examination? Yeah. What's up? It's just that why didn't you take our mom? Now my mom is angry at home, thinking that you only care about your own family and don't care about her. Gabriel sighed. I was a bit confused. Iris's previous inner thoughts didn't show any sign of blaming me for not taking her for a physical examination. Why did it change now? Mom said she's angry? Yeah, she's throwing a tantrum at home, and she also said you should save money and take your mom home for dinner tonight instead of wasting money outside. Gabriel said, his voice full of helplessness. Honey, you know my mom has a bad temper. Since she just came to take care of us. Don't make her angry, okay? I frowned and said, Gabriel, did your mom really say that? Of course it's true. Let your mom answer the phone. I want to ask her. I said coldly. There was a pause on Gabriel's side after a while. He said a bit unnaturally. Don't do that. You'll just start an argument, honey. For my sake. Don't make my mom angry, okay? Since I was driving, I didn't want to argue with him. I just simply said that I would take my mom home for dinner tonight and then hung up the phone. But in my heart, I became more and more suspicious of Gabriel's words. I even started to doubt if those words in the previous life were really spoken by Iris. I tried not to think about it too much. I picked up my mom and went to the hospital for the physical examination as expected. A tumor was found in her lung. Fortunately, it was detected in time. The doctor said that for now, conservative treatment was enough. And as long as she relaxed, she could be cured. My mom wasn't worried either. My daughter is really good. If it weren't for her taking me for the physical examination, I wouldn't have known about the tumor. I guess I'm just lucky to find it so early. Seeing that my mom was in a good mood, I felt relieved, but thinking about the confrontation with Iris and Gabriel when I got home in the evening made me feel annoyed. I decided not to take my mom back with me, so I sent my mom home. Told her to take her medicine on time and keep a good mood. Then I called Gabriel to tell him about my mom's situation and that I wouldn't bring her back for dinner, asking him to tell Iris not to prepare food for my mom. When I got home, Iris had already prepared a table of food, but her eyes were a bit red before I could ask. I heard her inner thoughts. Elena is back. I can't let her see that I've been crying, or she might think I'm angry with her. Although I don't know why she told Gabriel that my cooking isn't good enough for her mom. Well, maybe city people are more particular after all. I'm from the countryside. I need to be more careful with my cooking in the future so that Elena won't be picky either. Then I saw her secretly wipe away a tear when she looked at me again. She had already put on a calm face. Elena, you're back, let us have dinner. With that, she started to go to the kitchen to get the bowls and chopsticks. Gabriel was just sitting on the sofa, playing with his phone. Wait a minute. I called out to Iris. Mom, today, my mom's physical examination results showed that she has a tumor in her lung. So I didn't bring her back for dinner. What did Gabriel tell you? Iris was stunned for a moment, then spoke anxiously. Your mother has a tumor. How serious is it? Gabriel, how could you not tell Mom such an important thing? Elena, is your mother okay? Does she need surgery? Is there enough money? If not, ask Mom for it. We still have some savings at home over the years. It was clear that Iris was genuinely worried. And it was hard to associate her with the evil mother-in-law in the previous life who refused to give me the money for my mother's medical treatment. I turned to look at the man on the sofa. You didn't tell Mom? Gabriel stood up nervously from the sofa and stammered. I forgot. I was worried about your mom's health. So I forgot to mention this. That expression didn't seem like he had just forgotten. I continued to ask. Then how did you tell Mom that I'm not bringing my mom back for dinner tonight? Gabriel became even more nervous. He walked towards me. I said you're not bringing your mom over today and asked Mom not to cook for her. Is that what you said? Iris said, getting angry immediately upon hearing this. You clearly said that Elena said my cooking isn't good enough for her mom and that I shouldn't bother. Iris looked at her son in frustration, but in her heart, she was relieved, thinking, thank goodness. I thought Elena didn't like me. It was just my son misdelivering the message. They father and son are like this. They can't even convey a simple message properly, and it almost made me misunderstand Elena. I knew Elena is such a nice girl. She's not the type to look down on people from the countryside. My heart sank, so all along, Iris didn't dislike me. In fact, she wanted to get along with me peacefully. Judging from her reaction when she learned about my mom's illness just now, she wasn't the kind of person who would prevent my mom from getting treatment. Then, the problem lay with Gabriel. Was it really just a matter of misdelivering the message? I'm afraid not. Gabriel looked at me awkwardly and said anxiously, Mom, I just made a slip of the tongue. Why are you taking it so seriously? How could Elena say such a thing? It was my mistake. Although Iris was angry, she accepted Gabriel's explanation. She came over and pulled me to sit at the dining table. Elena, how is your mother's condition? Just let me know if you need anything. Now that I understood that the events in the previous life were probably not caused by Iris, I no longer harbored hatred towards her, so I took the initiative to comfort her. My mom is still in the early stage. Since it was detected early, it's not serious, so don't worry. As I spoke, I looked at Gabriel beside me, feeling as if I was seeing this man for the first time. I didn't believe that he just didn't know how to talk. He had a good job, passed the civil service exam, and worked in the system where people were shrewd. How could he not understand the art of speaking? This could only mean that everything in the previous life was Gabriel's own doing. Thinking of this, I felt a wave of nausea. I couldn't believe that in 7 years, I hadn't been able to see through this person. Elena, don't be angry. Gabriel just doesn't know how to express himself. He's like his father in this regard. In the past, I had a lot of misunderstandings with his grandma because his father couldn't communicate properly. Men are like this. Don't take it to heart. Iris was still speaking up for Gabriel. Gabriel also sat next to me, looking at me guiltily. Honey, it's all my fault. I'm bad at talking. If you're unhappy, just get angry at me. Don't be mad at me, okay? I looked at him coldly. It was hard to imagine that this seemingly innocent-looking man was actually acting towards his own wife and mother. Thinking of what Iris had said about the misunderstanding between her and Gabriel's grandma, I couldn't help but think more. Okay, it's fine now. Don't mess up the relationship between me and Mom by talking nonsense in the future, I said, collecting my thoughts and nodding in response. I also wanted to see what else Gabriel had up his sleeve. Did Iris know that her son was plotting against her because of my mom's health? During this period, I either went to the company or went to my mom's place to accompany her and help her relax. I was actually at home less often. Iris was considerate of me and often made soup for my mom for me to take to her. She even offered to take my mom out for a trip to relax if she had time. There was news before that a person with cancer went on a trip, and their cancer got better because they were in a good mood. She was really thoughtful. However, Gabriel was no longer as considerate as before. That night, when I came out of the bathroom after taking a shower, I saw Gabriel looking at me with a hesitant expression. My brows furrowed. This was exactly the same situation as in the previous life when he said Iris wanted to take control of our family's financial power. Gabriel said carefully, seeing that I didn't respond, "What's wrong?" "I want to tell you something. Don't get angry, okay?" Gabriel said, observing my expression. "Did you do something to betray me?" I sneered. "How could I? I would never do anything to betray you in my life, honey," Gabriel said, acting submissively as he sat down next to me. Looking like a good husband. Seeing that I didn't say anything, Gabriel continued on his own. "Well, now that my mom is here to take care of us, of course, she shouldn't be the one to cover the daily expenses at home." I nodded. "Sure as 5,000 yuan for living expenses per month enough, plus 8,000 yuan as mom's pocket money." Gabriel was delighted when he heard how considerate I was. "My wife is the best, so thoughtful." "But honey, what my mom means is that we, as young people, can't manage our money well. It would be better if we handed our salaries to my mom. She'll give us some pocket money every month and help us save the money." "Is this what your mom means?" My face turning serious. Gabriel nodded. "I know this request isn't reasonable, but my mom is doing it for our own good. Besides, apart from the family expenses, we don't really have any special things to spend money on." "Gabriel, have you forgotten that my mom needs medical treatment now?" I asked sternly. "Honey, don't get angry. I know your mom is sick, but her condition isn't serious, right? Her pension should be enough. My mom's temper. When she decides to do something, none of us in the family can oppose it. Honey, thinking about your mom being sick. I'm also worried about my mom's situation. If we just hand over the money to her, it will make her happy, and a happy mood reduces the risk of getting sick. This is good for us too, isn't it? Gabriel tried to persuade me gently, but I just found it ridiculous. It wasn't certain that it was Iris who wanted the money. What did Gabriel want to do with my salary? Was he having an affair, keeping a mistress? The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. So you're saying that if I don't hand over my salary, your mom will get sick? That's not what I mean, honey. Don't get excited. What I mean is that we should humor my mom a bit. It's good for the elderly's health, and my mom isn't taking our money. She's just helping us save it. He'll give it back to us when we need it. Gabriel said in a low voice, trying to soothe me and smiling obsequiously at me. Honey, do it for my sake. You know you and mom are the most important people to me. I don't want you two to have a bad relationship. Really? Fine. Then I'll go ask your mom what she wants to do with my salary, I said. Getting up to leave, Gabriel panicked and stopped me. Honey, what are you doing? What am I doing? I want to ask your mom what she means. Knowing my mom is sick and still wanting to take my salary, is that something a decent person would do? I raised my voice. Gabriel quickly covered my mouth. Dear, don't shout. You'll just make my mom angry. Your mom? Your mom? What about my mom? I've never heard of a situation where a newly married woman has to hand over her salary to her mother-in-law. You said you were short of money a few days ago. So it was all a lie to fool me, and you've been eyeing my salary all along. I struggled to break free from his hand and made a gesture to shout again. Don't shout. Gabriel covered my mouth again, seeing the anger in my eyes. He probably realized I was really mad. He could only sigh and say, Honey, if you don't like it, forget it. Don't quarrel with my mom. I'm begging you. I don't want you two to have a conflict at home. Leave this to me. I'll talk to my mom. Okay? I gave him a cold look. Aren't you afraid of your mom? How are you going to talk to her? For you, honey. I have to talk to her. Don't worry. Honey. I'll handle this. Leave it to me, he said, patting his chest to reassure me. He looked like a good husband who thought of everything for me. But my heart grew cold. Maybe I needed to find out what Gabriel had been doing behind my back. His income, although not as high as mine, wasn't low either. Why would he be eyeing my salary? Was he really keeping a mistress outside, suspecting that Gabriel was having an affair? I decided to start investigating him. I wanted to find evidence of his infidelity so that I could prepare for divorce. I don't know if he hid it well or if I was just too busy recently. I really couldn't find any clues. He came home on time every day, even because he was worried that I would have conflicts with his mom. He picked me up and dropped me off at work every day. Even Iris said that Gabriel had become more considerate recently. This made me doubt if I was overthinking, but I had specifically tested Iris about the salary card thing. One day, Gabriel couldn't pick me up from work because of overtime. So I went home by myself, taking the opportunity to be alone with Iris. I deliberately played short drama videos about mother-in-law and daughter-in-law conflicts on my phone. The video was about a mother-in-law asking to take control of the family's financial power. To make sure Iris could hear it, I turned the volume up to the maximum. She did hear it and also had a mental reaction. I heard Iris's panicked inner voice. Why is Elena suddenly watching such a video? Is she worried that I want to take control of the family's financial power? How could I do such a thing? Did I say something recently that my son misdelivered and made her misunderstand? No, recently. I've been worried about my health and haven't said anything special. Looking at Iris's hesitant look, I felt a bit sorry for her. I turned off the video and said infuriately, "Stupid short videos." Then Iris seemed to relax. From this it was clear that Iris had never mentioned asking for the salary card. It was always Gabriel who wanted it. Just when I was puzzled, my father-in-law also moved into the house. Gabriel said, "My dad isn't feeling well recently. He wants to come and stay for 2 months. My mom can take care of him. I'll go back when he gets better." Looking at his cautious look and my father-in-law's equally cautious demeanor, I couldn't refuse. Plus, my mother-in-law was also worried about my father-in-law's health. So we let my father-in-law move into our new home. My father-in-law was quite similar to Gabriel in character. He spoke softly on weekdays and was very patient with my mother-in-law. It seemed like a happy family scene. But somehow I felt strange, especially the way my father-in-law looked at me. I always felt he was a bit flustered. My father-in-law's words were similar to Gabriel's. He often said to me, "Elena, in our family, your mother-in-law has been in charge of everything for years. We all listen to her, so she can be a bit willful and have a big temper. Sometimes you might feel wronged. I hope you don't take it to heart." Sometimes, when he did something wrong and was scolded by Iris, he would just smile and not get angry with Iris. Instead, he would secretly say to me, "Daughter-in-law, your mother-in-law just has a bad temper, but she's actually a nice person. We're all used to giving in to her in the family, don't mind it." I had heard these words in my previous life and took them seriously. However, this time, after hearing Iris's inner thoughts, I realized that although she seemed serious and expressionless on the surface, and might appear unapproachable, she was genuinely caring about me and trying to maintain the family. And she probably didn't know that her husband and son always talked about her having a big temper behind her back. One day, I came home late because I went to see my mom. Iris had prepared the meal, but they hadn't eaten. The whole family was sitting in the living room waiting for me. The food on the dining table had already gotten cold. I was quite surprised because I had clearly told Gabriel that I would take my mom for a re-examination today, so he didn't need to pick me up and they didn't need to wait for dinner. Why was the whole family waiting for me now? When I got home, everyone looked at me. Iris's expression was obviously off. Gabriel even stood up nervously and walked towards me. Then he winked at me. As he got closer, he immediately held me and shouted loudly, "Elena, you don't feel well, right? I'll take you back to your room first." I was pulled towards the room by Gabriel in a daze. My father-in-law also said, "If you don't feel well, go back to your room and rest. It's okay." Iris, on the other hand, just stood there watching without making any move. I clearly sensed something was wrong when I tried to struggle and stop. Gabriel whispered in my ear, "My mom is angry because you're back. Go back to your room first. Wait until my dad and I calm her down, and then you can come out." My father-in-law also secretly gave me a signal. I looked at Iris in confusion. Obviously, she didn't believe that I was unwell considering their clumsy acting and my energetic appearance. Then her inner thoughts came to me. "I think I've been pretty good to Elena. Why isn't she satisfied?" I was stunned for a moment and was pulled 2 more steps by Gabriel. Then I heard Iris's inner thoughts again. "I cook and clean at home, acting like a nanny for them. She even thinks my husband and I should pay rent and utilities to make us pay. She deliberately doesn't come back for dinner and doesn't give any notice to the family as a form of protest. Maybe I should go back home with the old man. But my son said they can't take care of themselves otherwise. Should we really give her rent? But how could there be such a thing?" The more I heard, the more absurd it seemed. I quickly used all my strength to break free from Gabriel's hold and ran towards Iris. "Mom, they took my mom to the hospital for a re-examination today, so I wasn't coming back for dinner." "I asked Gabriel to tell you. Did he say anything?" Iris was stunned when she heard this and instinctively looked at Gabriel. Looked at Iris awkwardly and said in a low voice, I forgot." Iris's expression softened a bit, but she still said coldly, "Got it, then I'll reheat the food. The 3 of us can eat." Her tone was clearly not as friendly as before. She also muttered in her heart, "So she didn't deliberately not come back for dinner. My son is really something, for getting like this." We thought it was her way of asking for rent. Sigh, having fulfilled my sigh. Taking care of the young couple in my son's house and still being asked to pay rent. Where can I go to complain about this? With that, she went to the dining room to take the dishes to the kitchen to reheat. Gabriel quickly walked towards me again and urged in a low voice, "Didn't I tell you to go back to your room? My mom has a bad temper. She might yell at you later. Don't stay here. My dad and I will handle it." "Yes," setting fulfilled my obsession. "Elena, go upstairs quickly. After we calm her down, everything will be fine tomorrow. Don't be here, or she might get angry at you." My father-in-law also urged, thinking of Iris's inner thoughts. I couldn't help but wonder what Gabriel had done. He not only tried to trick me into handing over my salary card, but also seemed to be trying to make his parents pay rent. Why couldn't I find any clues? Was I not looking carefully enough? That I even hired a private detective, and still, nothing was found what was going wrong. Thinking of this, I ignored their dissuasion and went straight to the kitchen. Iris was reheating the dishes with a cold face. I directly asked, "Mom, Gabriel said you wanted us to hand over our salaries to you?" Iris was so shocked that the spatula in her hand dropped to the ground. She turned around and looked at me in disbelief. "What do I want your salaries for?" I pretended to be curious and asked, "Didn't you say we couldn't save money and we should give you all our money? When did I ever say such a thing?" Iris was really angry now. She stared at me and asked, "Wasn't it you who asked me and Gabriel's dad to pay you rent?" "Rent? When did I say that? I even said that you've been working hard at home. So I'd give you 5,000 yuan per month for living expenses and another 8,000 yuan as pocket money, but Gabriel said it wasn't enough and you wanted us to hand over our salary cards. You know my mom is sick, and I need my salary to pay for her treatment. So I didn't agree, Mom." "You're not angry, are you?" Iris immediately walked towards the living room and shouted loudly, "Gabriel, come here right now." Gabriel, who was already nervous outside, came over as soon as he heard the voice. "What's wrong, Mom?" Iris said with a cold face, "Did you tell Elena that I wanted you two to hand over your salary cards?" "Did I ever say such a thing?" Gabriel's face stiffened, and he turned his head awkwardly. "Speak up. Did you say it?" "Mom, I can't remember. Don't you remember? This isn't a trivial matter. Elena's mom is sick, and if I were to ask her to hand over her salary, wouldn't I be a bad mother-in-law? No, even if her mom was fine, I couldn't take your salaries. This is a matter of principle. How could you say such a thing? How can I face Elena now?" Iris loudly questioned her son. My father-in-law quickly stepped forward to comfort her. "Honey, don't get angry. I'll get sick if you're always angry." "I'm always angry? It's all because of your son," Iris said, patting her chest. My father-in-law also rebuked Gabriel. "Son, what on earth is going on? Explain it clearly to your mother right away." Gabriel thought for a moment, then slapped his head and said, "Mom, don't you remember? Last time when we were chatting, you said that we young people spend money extravagantly and can't save any money after getting married. Unlike when you were young and were thrifty, so you could save money?" Iris thought for a while and seemed to recall something. "No, I was talking about you spending money extravagantly and advised you to spend less, and I never asked you to hand over your salaries." She slapped her thigh. Seeing Iris was so angry, I quickly helped her to sit at the dining table. "You didn't mean that. I thought you were asking us to hand over our salaries." Gabriel was unhurried, speaking with a confused look on his face. "Did I misunderstand?" Iris was so angry with him that she said, "What exactly did I say?" "You bought that expensive gaming console. They told you not to be so wasteful with money now that you're married. You should save when you can. Especially since Elena's mother is sick. Saving money can relieve some of Elena's pressure. I told you to learn how your dad and I saved money when we were young. But you told Elena to give me her salary." She was so angry that she started coughing. She didn't forget to hold my hand and said guiltily, "Elena, it's all this kid's fault for misinterpreting. I never asked for your money. Please don't take it to heart." To be honest, I was also shocked by this. Was this how Gabriel understood things? Words that were clearly meant to show concern. How could they turn into asking me to hand over my salary in his mouth? Iris was still blaming herself. "Thank goodness, Elena, you came to ask me, otherwise this misunderstanding would have continued. I'm really not such an unreasonable person." I patted Iris's hand to comfort her, then turned to ask Gabriel. "Gabriel, and how did you tell Mom that I wanted her to pay rent?" Gabriel became visibly more flustered. Iris also remembered this. "Yeah. I said Elena didn't seem like that kind of person. You said she asked me and your dad for rent. What's going on?" Th. Didn't you say that, honey?" Gabriel stammered. "When did I say that? I've been so busy recently that I'm constantly on the go all thanks to Mom helping with the housework and cooking at home. Otherwise, how could I have so much time to take care of my mom? How could I possibly ask her to pay rent? Didn't I say I'd give Mom living expenses and pocket money?" I sneered. Gabriel once again put on a confused look and said, almost in a self-defeating way. I really forgot. I could have sworn you said it. Did I remember wrong? Of course you remembered wrong, my father-in-law said, exasperated. Son, hidayamwe sai. Look at what you've done. This is causing misunderstandings between your mom and your wife. Gabriel quickly apologized. Mom, honey, it's my fault. You know I sometimes misunderstand things. Don't be angry. It's all my fault. I'm sorry, okay? Iris, after all, felt sorry for her son. She sighed. What if you made Elena misunderstand me? Then she turned to persuade me. Elena, don't be angry. It's just that Gabriel can't express himself well. He's always like this. He doesn't mean it. I won't talk to him much in the future to avoid him saying something wrong and making you misunderstand me again. I suddenly realized the reason why Iris had always been so taciturn. I couldn't help but feel indignant for her, but there wasn't much I could say. I could only say to Gabriel, it's good that it was a misunderstanding. I thought you wanted to take the money to do something bad. Gabriel's face instantly turned pale with fright. What are you talking about? How could I do anything bad? I just misunderstood what my mom meant. Please forgive me this time. Iris also said, you men just can't communicate properly, son. You have to know that you're the bridge in this family. Family harmony depends on you. If you can't convey things correctly, it will greatly affect the relationship between me and Elena. She sighed. You're just like your dad. You can't talk properly and can't understand what others mean. Back then, the bad relationship between me and your grandma was all because your dad couldn't act as a good communication bridge. My father-in-law said sheepishly. Honey, you know I'm not smart. I really didn't do it on purpose. But I know who you are. Don't worry. When Iris's mood improved and she went to reheat the food again, I went upstairs to take a bath. After all, I needed to clean up after coming back from the hospital. I was also thinking in my mind, could it be that I had misunderstood Gabriel? That he just misinterpreted Iris's meaning and also unconsciously misinterpreted mine? After I finished taking a bath and came out, I wanted to go downstairs to apologize to Iris. Last time Gabriel had forgotten to tell her that I wouldn't be back for dinner. And this time I didn't even call to inform her on my own initiative. I made them wait for me at home for so long. As I passed by my father-in-law and mother-in-law's room, I accidentally heard Gabriel's voice. Now that they've cleared things up, it's even harder to get Elena to hand over her salary card. I was stunned, so my previous guess was right. It was Gabriel who wanted to deceive me into handing over my salary. The door was slightly ajar, so I quietly approached and heard my father-in-law speaking in a low voice. How come you couldn't coax your wife well? Why did she go and talk to your mom about everything? Once they compare notes, problems will arise. How would I know? I told her before that I'd handle the problem. Who knew she would suddenly go and ask my mom? I've been pretending to be haggard these days, waiting for her to ask me what's wrong so I could say it was the pressure from my mom. But she didn't even notice. Gabriel said dejectedly. Don't be discouraged. My father-in-law seemed a bit angry. What did I teach you? In this family, only when the relationship between mom and wife is bad can a man have an easier life. Your mom will feel sorry for you and give you all the money to make you look good in front of your wife. Your wife will feel sorry for you and endure all the grievances for you to relieve your pressure. That's how your dad has been living all these years. Look how well I've been doing. Women, as long as you say some nice words, be polite, and act a little more considerate, they'll soften up. Over the years, hasn't your mom always thought I'm a good guy, so she's endured everything for me? Back when your grandma was alive, she handed over all the family's salary to me. And she even secretly stuffed money to me. If it weren't for the bad relationship between them, could your dad have had such an easy life? Of course I know. I've been learning from you since I was a kid that now Elena goes to confront my mom about everything herself. What can I do? Gabriel said, deflated. What can you do? Coax her. Coax her for now. Don't try to stir up trouble for the time being. I'll also try to smooth things over with your mom when they let their guard down. You tell your wife that you admitted to misunderstanding your mom's meaning today just to save her face. And that your mom actually does want you two to hand over your salaries, but just couldn't admit it when she was questioned. Then I'll back you up. How about that? My father-in-law said, looking pleased with himself. You're really something, Dad. Gabriel said, full of admiration. Learn from me. You're still far from being as good as your old man. When you have both your mom's and your wife's money in your hands, wouldn't you have a great life? Those two women, if they don't like each other, will both try to be nice to you and get you on their side, then you can play them off against each other. And you'll have a wonderful time. My father-in-law laughed cunningly. Actually, it's a bit too hasty to ask for the salary card now. Your relationship with your wife isn't that solid yet. But her mom is sick. All her money is going to her mom's treatment. That's all your money. You'd better get it back as soon as possible. Gabriel agreed. You're right, the money in Miss Stanley is mine. What does it have to do with me if it's used for her mom's treatment? Even if her mom dies, she shouldn't spend my money. My father-in-law nodded in approval. Exactly. That's the way it should be. So, son, you need to coax your wife well as soon as possible. Hearing this, I was so angry that I almost burst in and tore their faces apart, but there were two men in there, and I was worried that Gabriel might do something to me if we had a showdown. So I could only clench my teeth and turn away. It was simply ridiculous. It wasn't about having a mistress, it was just plain selfishness, and it ran in the family. They tried to stir up trouble between two women to benefit from it. These two men were really disgusting. It turned out that in my previous life, I had taken revenge on the wrong person. And Iris had also been manipulated by these two men. I was so angry that my whole body was shaking. I started planning to foil their plans. I had to get a divorce. As for Iris, I didn't know what she would do when she found out the truth. Thinking of this, I quickly packed my clothes and decided to go live with my mom. I really didn't want to be in the same room as Gabriel anymore. When Gabriel came back to the room and saw me packing, he was obviously startled. What's wrong? Didn't we explain everything clearly today? What are you doing? I tried my best to suppress my disgust and explained in a good-tempered way. Well, today during the re-examination, my mom's condition has deteriorated a bit. I plan to go and accompany her for a few days to encourage her to keep up with the treatment. Although it was bad to say this about my mom's condition, I couldn't help it at the moment. I hope my mom lives a long and healthy life and doesn't take my words seriously. Gabriel was also a bit worried. How could it deteriorate all of a sudden? Do you need me to go with you? No need. You made mom unhappy today. You'd better stay at home and accompany her. I quickly packed my things and went downstairs. Iris was cleaning up the kitchen, hearing the commotion. She came out and was also shocked to see me pulling a suitcase. Elena, what are you doing? I briefly explained and then told her. Mom, next time if there's anything, call me directly. Don't let Gabriel pass on the message. So we can avoid misunderstandings. Gabriel stood by, awkwardly scratching his head after giving my instructions. I pulled the suitcase and went to my mom's place. My mom was a bit surprised to see me coming back with a suitcase. Elena, what are you doing? Isn't it nice for me to come back and accompany you? Mom? I said, playfully throwing myself into my mom's arms. But my mom pushed me away. Cut it out. Tell me, what happened? You're not the type to act impulsively. Now your mother-in-law and father-in-law are staying at your place, and you come back to your parents' home with a suitcase. Aren't you afraid they'll misunderstand? Something must have happened. Tell Mom, did you get bullied? Mom will stand up for you. Seeing my mom roll up her sleeves, ready to go out and defend me, and thinking about how helpless she looked in the hospital bed in the previous life, I felt a pang of heartache. I quickly stopped her from going out. Mom, I'm not being bullied, but something did happen, and I might need your help. What is it? Just tell Mom what to do. Don't beat around the bush. So I told my mom about what Gabriel and his father had said in my plan. When my mom heard about the schemes of Gabriel and his father, she was furious. They say a husband is the bridge in a relationship between a mother-in-law and a daughter-in-law. Your husband knows exactly how to collect the toll on that bridge. Your mother-in-law has really suffered with such a father-son duo for all these years. No wonder when I went to inquire about their family, everyone said your mother-in-law was notoriously difficult to deal with. I was worried that you wouldn't get along with her. But now it seems that Gabriel and his father are the ones causing trouble. My mom was really angry. Only after my comfort did she agree to follow my plan next. Introduced by a friend, I got my mom admitted to a private hospital and informed Gabriel that my mom's condition had worsened and she needed treatment now. I subtly mentioned that I didn't have enough money and hoped Gabriel could help out with some on the phone. Gabriel didn't say much and promised that he would try to find a way soon. Gabriel and his father came to the hospital to visit my mom. My mom had put on a simple sick person makeup and looked rather weak. Gabriel and his father came with fruits. As soon as they entered the room, both of them asked about my mom's condition with concern. In fact, my mom's condition was fine now. I started talking about my mom's illness according to what happened in the previous life, furrowing my brows. Honey, my mom has used up all her pension. And I've spent all my savings over the years. You must have some savings from these years. Right? I didn't ask for a bride price when we got married. Now could you help me cover my mom's medical expenses? I pleaded with him. Crying, the expressions on Gabriel and his father's faces visibly darkened. Especially Gabriel, he hugged me and patted my shoulder comfortingly. Finally, he said, Elena, Mom. It's not that I don't want to help you, but, you know, my mom is strict with me and doesn't let me spend money recklessly. After she scolded me for buying that gaming console last time, she took away my salary card. I really don't have any money. He looked at me with an awkward expression. I wiped away my tears and said in disbelief, how could that be? Didn't we make it clear last time that it was a misunderstanding? And Mom said she would help if my mom needed money for treatment. Gabriel let out a deep sigh upon hearing this. I'm really embarrassed to say this. What do you mean? I'll say it, son. At this point, his father beside him spoke up. Actually, last time your mom was put on the spot by you and couldn't save face. So she forced your son to say that he misunderstood her meaning. Your son's salary card and my pension are all in her hands. She has always been in charge of the family's financial power. My wife. She's good in other aspects. But she's just too controlling. She has to have the final say in everything at home, of course. She has to be in charge of the money. Since Elena didn't hand over her salary last time, she's been getting angry with your son recently. You don't know because you're not at home. Elena. His father looked like he was reluctant to expose family secrets. My mom, who was lying on the hospital bed, was so angry that she could barely keep up her act. It was only after I gave her several eye signals that she managed to hold back, so I took out my phone and said with a sobbing voice, then I'll call Mom and ask her to lend me some money. This is a matter of my mom's life and death. She will surely agree. Seeing that I was about to make the call, Gabriel quickly stopped me. Elena, having fulfilled my obsession. You can't make this call. If you do, my mom might think you're eyeing her money. Let me call instead. Maybe what I say is her son will be more useful. If I didn't already know this person's true face, I might have believed him. Gabriel said sorrowfully that he would go out to make the call and asked me to wait for good news. His father followed him out. The two of them went to the corridor. I followed them carefully and heard Gabriel's impatient voice. How could her condition have worsened to this extent? Now, Elena's money has all been thrown in. I can't throw my money in anymore. Of course not. No way. You have to get Elena to hand over her salary as soon as possible. Just say your mom said that given Elena's mom's situation, she doesn't trust Elena with the money. She wants Elena to either hand over her salary or get a divorce. Elena is at her most vulnerable now. Coax her a bit more. Say her mom's condition isn't worth spending money on for treatment. She'll surely listen to you. His father immediately offered advice. Will this work? Gabriel sounded worried. But his father said, it definitely will. When your grandma was hospitalized and needed money, I used this trick to take away your mom's salary card. Your mom resented your grandma for a long time because of this. Later, it was your uncle who paid for your grandma's treatment. And your mom didn't hate your grandma as much anymore. Okay. I'll tell Elena this when I go back. What if she wants to ask my mom directly? Don't worry. She'll be upset later. Just comfort her. I'll go back and take your mom away so she can't find her. Then you can threaten and cajole her in your mom's name. Won't Elena's salary card be yours? Now that her mom might die, you'll be her only family. Just push everything onto your mom. Elena will hate your mom, not you, and then secretly give her some money to be the good guy. She'll be head over heels for you. Trust your dad. After listening to their disgusting remarks, I stopped the recording. before they could notice. I went back to my mom's ward soon. Gabriel and his father came back, both of them entered the room with their heads down, looking embarrassed. Gabriel gritted his teeth and said to me with a sobbing voice, "Elena, I'm so sorry. My mom doesn't agree to give the money. She said that even if your mom's illness is cured, it's a waste of money, and there's no need to spend the money that should be for her future grandson." He looked at me with a heartbroken expression. "Honey, my mom also said that you have to hand over your salary card for her to feel at ease, otherwise we have to get a divorce. She said your money should be used for our future children, not on your mom's hopeless illness." I looked at Gabriel in grief and indignation. "Gabriel, did your mom really say that?" "Elena, we Hawthornes are really sorry for you. But in our family, it's Gabriel's mom who has the final say. We can't do anything about it," Gabriel's father also said. Gabriel nodded. "Elena, I'm sorry. I can't do anything about my mom. I've saved a few thousand yuan of private money over the years. I'll give it to you to tide you over. Just hand over your salary card. We still have to live our lives, don't we?" Seeing these two getting more and more shameless, I opened the door of the bathroom in the ward. Iris had been locked inside by me for a while. At first, she didn't understand why I insisted she stay in the bathroom, but now, she looked at her son and husband with icy eyes. "When did I ever say those things?" Gabriel and his father were shocked to find Iris there. "Mom, what are you doing here?" Gabriel stepped forward, trying to get close to Iris. But she pushed him away. "If I wasn't here, how could I know how you to have been framing me?" Iris looked at her husband and son with disappointment. Although I could sense how distressed Iris was at the moment, I still played the recording I had just made in the corridor in front of her. As the recording played, Iris's face grew darker, while Gabriel and his father blushed. When it came to the part about Gabriel's grandmother's illness, Iris snapped. She rushed forward and slapped his father hard across the face. "Oliver, are you even human? For all these years, because of that incident, I've been too ashamed to contact my maternal family. I resented your mother for so long, but still, for your sake, I gradually let it go, and it turns out it was you. Oliver, I'm divorcing you." Iris burst into tears in anger. "Divorce? Are you crazy, Iris? At your age, you want a divorce?" Gabriel's father looked at Iris in disbelief, as if he had heard something outrageous. Gabriel also tried to persuade her. "Mom, what are you talking about? You want a divorce just because of this?" Iris was so hurt by her husband and son that she could barely speak at this point. I also said, "Gabriel, stop meddling in your parents' business. Listen carefully. I'm divorcing you too." "Elena? Are you crazy too? Your mom is about to die. I'm the only family you have left in this world, and you want to divorce me?" Gabriel was so shocked that his voice was even louder than his father's. Just then, a pillow flew over and hit Gabriel on the head. "You're the one who's going to die. You and your father, such despicable people, deserve to die. I'm perfectly fine. You want to cheat my daughter out of her money? You'd better divorce her right away. Otherwise, I'll make sure your family is ruined." My mom roared. "Mom? You're okay?" Gabriel looked at my mom in shock. "Who's your mom?" my mom shouted. "I wouldn't give birth to such a shameless son. Divorce her immediately. If you don't, just wait and see if I'll sue you or not." "Sue me?" Although Gabriel was still a bit dazed, he reacted quickly. "Even if you sue me for this kind of thing, it won't work as long as I claim our relationship isn't broken. The court is unlikely to grant a divorce. If you don't want to divorce, that's fine," I sneered. "Then get ready to lose your job. I'll publicize what you and your father had done in your company. If you don't divorce, get ready to be ruined and lose your reputation." "Elena, you're crazy. What good will this do you? If I lose my job, you won't have a good time either," Gabriel shouted. "I can support my daughter even if she doesn't work, but it's different for you two parasites," my mom said coldly. "If you don't divorce, I'll go to your company and make a scene tomorrow. Just wait." At the same time, Iris was also yelling about getting a divorce. I had always heard Gabriel say how bad-tempered his mom was, but I never really saw it. Now I witnessed her fierceness. She grabbed Gabriel's father's head and started pounding it, shouting for divorce. The whole ward was in chaos. But since we were in a VIP ward, it didn't affect others much. And we had informed the hospital in advance, so not even a single person came to persuade us. In the end, Gabriel, under pressure, agreed to the divorce. His father, however, was stubborn and refused to divorce, but Iris didn't back down. She moved out of my house that day, saying she wouldn't live with the Hawthorne father-son duo anymore. After divorcing Gabriel, I kicked them out of my house. And accidentally, I used Gabriel's WeChat to send a recording of him and his father to their company group. Because the content was so outrageous, and it was spread by his colleagues. Soon, there were all kinds of news on the internet about how the Hawthorne father-son pair profited by sowing discord between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. The impact was extremely bad. Gabriel was fired by the company. And because of his bad reputation, he couldn't find a suitable job. It was said that the father-son pair had to go back to the countryside, but when they got there, they found that their house had been rented out by Iris to a bully in the village. They were left with no place to go. After the divorce, I paid close attention to my mom's health. Fortunately, she never had any problems. She often told me that not getting married was actually quite good since my dad passed away. She had been raising me on her own and it was fine. I knew she didn't want me to get married again, fearing I might meet another jerk. I didn't really care either way. From then on, I only loved myself and my mom. No one else was in my consideration. Oh, by the way, my relationship with Iris got better and better. Although she didn't divorce, she left the Hawthorne father-son pair and started working as a housekeeper. She had a good income and was living a prosperous life. As for Gabriel and his father, it was said they were in a pitiful state, but that had nothing to do with me anymore.